December 20th, 5:27 p.m., District Court, courtroom number 4. Let's go! Let us now reconvene. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution has never been more ready. You know, this is the first time we've been at the defense bench together since I debuted. Now that you mention it, although back then I thought you were more loud than you were reliable. You've really come a long way since then, Apollo. You've grown a lot. Well, there have been some hiccups, but I guess I've done pretty well. He's still got that ego of his, though. Prosecutor Blackquill, with the 7-year mistake now resolved, you can finally take your rightful place. Yes, I guess we can keep the chit-chat for later. Will bailiff please bring in the witness immediately? Even with those handcuffs off, Prosecutor Blackquill seems to be pretty much the same. 7 years of grumpiness doesn't go away so easily, I guess. Bobby Fulbright here. I heard I was needed on the stand, so here I am. Detective Fulbright, do you know why you have been called to give testimony? Yep, because there's only one reason why I've been called. And that is because it's time for justice. In justice we trust.
Objection!
In justice, my ass. You can't fool us with that act anymore. Your justice is nothing but lies. What? Are you questioning the integrity of my sense of justice? I mean, sure, sometimes I make mistakes, but hey. He's acting exactly the same as always. Tell me about it. He must be feeling awfully confident. Fulbright, if you wish to dispel our suspicions, then let's get to your testimony. All right, fine. You want me to prove my righteousness? I can certainly do that. Witness testimony. The embodiment of justice. I am the very embodiment of justice itself. I won't have you make me into a villain with your far-fetched arguments. And this bit about the escape route is only a theory. You don't have any proof. What we do have is proof that Athena Sykes is the culprit. This ladder with her prints on it. So you're saying the suspicions against you are completely false? And that the defendant is the real culprit? That's right! Mr. Lawyer's escape route is totally circumstantial. He doesn't have any proof that I made a big leap onto a ladder. We don't have proof. You are correct about that. However, you don't have any proof for your claim either. Yeah, I guess you're right. But you can't define justice with evidence. Who can define it anyway? Justice? Justice!
Objection!
Don't make me break out a dictionary on you. Yeah, please, don't throw the book at me. Tell me the Phantom didn't just make me set up a stupid pun for him. Let's just try not to lose focus, all right? But my justice is crystal clear. What's not clear are your eyes. Wake up and smell the justice.
Silence!
Enough of your rubbish, Fulbright. If you have even an ounce of justice, then you will answer the court's questions and prove it. Prosecutor Blackquill. Prosecutor Blackquill looks torn. Well, Fulbright was his partner after all. Prosecutor Blackquill is right. The truth will be revealed in the cross-examination. The suspicions against Detective Fulbright are at this point only suspicions. As is my duty, I will judge the claims against the detective as impartially as I can. Does anyone have any objections? That's fine, Your Honor. Now ask away and don't hold back. Well, there don't appear to be any objections. Very well, Mr. Wright. Please begin your cross-examination. This is gonna get really nuts. Let's get underway. I am the very embodiment of justice itself. I won't have you make me into a villain with your far-fetched arguments.
Hold it!
My arguments are hardly far-fetched. That's careful reasoning behind my theory. Yes, well, apparently there's reasoning behind even a tofu burger. But what we have against Miss Sykes, though, is not just reasoning, but solid evidence. And it's called a lighter, with Miss Sykes' fingerprints on it and the victim's blood. Yes, that's true. But wait, Detective Fulbright was the one who brought that evidence to the trial. If you harbor any suspicions, I suggest you ask Fulbright, Wright, especially about that lighter. He's right, but what exactly should I ask about? The number of prints. So how many prints were found exactly? 3. The thumb, the index finger, and the middle finger of a right hand. Your Honor, that is an important statement. Could we please have it added to my testimony? You got it. He beat me to it. Be it investigating or testifying, speed is the key. 3 prints were on the lighter: the thumb, index, and the middle fingers of a right hand. Well, that is a lot to take in, but unfortunately, objection! You're lying. You say the prints were from a right hand, is that correct? That's right. Very clear prints. But that just doesn't add up. Huh? What doesn't add up? According to Miss Blackquill, who saw the culprit herself, this person held the lighter in their left hand. Oh. So here is the dilemma before us. Why are the prints on the lighter from a right hand instead of a left? Yeah! You're right. It doesn't make sense, does it? Your Honor, this lighter can hardly be called incriminating evidence. The witness's claims don't even hold water. Detective Fulbright, I hope you have a good explanation for this. I just can't understand it. They're definitely right-hand prints. But then, why are they inconsistent with Miss Blackwell's statement? I've got it. What have you got, Detective? The mirror. The witness must have seen a reflection of the culprit in the mirror. Go on. Miss Blackquill was looking in through the window of boarding lounge 1, wasn't she? I believe so. If you mean the little window in the back end to the right of the room. That's right. And across the room on the opposite wall is a large mirror. I do remember seeing it. So are you saying? Yes, the culprit Miss Blackquill saw must have been a reflection of that person in the mirror. I see. In that case, right and left would appear reversed, wouldn't they? Now do you see? That's the logic of pure justice. Objection! But your argument is only conjecture. You don't have any proof that what Miss Blackquill saw was a reflection. Silence. Right, Dunno. You'd sooner nick yourself than him like that. Put some more muscle into it. Huh? That's right. Besides, the lighter couldn't have been in the left hand. And why not? Miss Blackquill says she saw an Earth emblem on the lighter, didn't she? That emblem is only on one side of the lighter. You're right. There's no emblem on the other side. Exactly. As blank and smooth as a judge's fine scalp. If the culprit had held the lighter in their left hand, they would have covered the emblem. Uh-oh. What's more, this is the kind of lighter you flick open with your thumb before lighting. So if the culprit had held it in their left hand with the emblem out invisible, they wouldn't have been able to open it, let alone light it. But if they had held it in their right hand, they could easily open it and light it. This all means that the culprit was definitely holding the lighter in their right hand. No! Come back, my beautiful contradiction. It appears you planted a flower that bears no fruit. See how it withers before my flower of justice? He's tough. He's managed to discredit almost everything I've proven up to this point. In justice we trust. Now do you see? I'm not this phantom you've been talking about. Are you sure there really is a spy? I bet they're just a figment of your imagination. Oh, it's so sad, so very sad, but I'm afraid Miss Sykes is the culprit. Hold it! Detective Fulbright, I believe you said that the emblem is only on one side of the lighter. Are you sure about that? Of course I'm sure. Why don't you take a look for yourself and see? Do you see an Earth emblem on both sides of the lighter? Hello? I knew it. You're lying, Detective. Pardon me? You mean Yes, my bracelet reacted to his statement about the emblem. He's definitely hiding something big. And I think if we use my talent, we might be able to figure it out. Justice Stunner, are you to use that cheat of yours again? It's not cheating, Prosecutor Blackquill. Very well. Whether I like it or not, I suppose we should use whatever works right now. Go on, then. We have Prosecutor Blackwill's reluctant blessing, apparently. Okay, Apollo, you're up. Here it goes, then. Detective Fulbright, could you repeat that last statement one more time? What in the world are you up to? All right, fine. You'll say it as many times as you like. Listen carefully. The Earth emblem is only on the side that you can see when held in the right hand. Yeah, but what I also like about this is that once you perceive, you can basically pinpoint, move it anywhere. This makes it a lot easier, especially when you have to deal with statements like this. But before I do that, I need to see his face. Yeah, look at his face like that. When I did it with Kristoff back in Turnabout Succession, yeah, I was terrified. Let's just continue. Gotcha! Gotcha, little Fulbright! Detective Fulbright, you might not be aware of it yourself, but whenever you say the phrase, the Earth emblem, your left thumb moves. In fact, it appears as though you're running it along the edge of your holster. Mr. Lawyer, I don't have the foggiest notion of what you're talking about. Be that as it may, I know it has something to do with the lighter. Let me examine it. But why? You're not making any sense. You can't just— Silence! Be still and do as you're told, Fulbright. If you have nothing to hide, you shouldn't mind them having a look-see, should you? What? Not you too, Prosecutor Blackquill. I'm not sure what this is all about, but if Prosecutor Blackquill insists, it must be something important. I will allow the defense to examine the lighter. Good. Now maybe we'll learn something new. I hope so. Now let's check every inch of this thing. What's this? Ugh. The back is covered with blood. Say, do you notice anything funny about this blood stain? You're right. It suddenly breaks off unnaturally. Supposedly the lighter was held with the right hand so that the emblem was visible. If so, the print should be around the emblem and on the lid where you open it. You're right. There's definitely something off here. So this is the Earth emblem Detective Fulbright was talking about. See anything noteworthy? Huh? Hey, look at this. The emblem's actually some kind of button. Wow, it transformed into something. A handle? A trigger? Is that what I think it is? There's no question, it seems. What you have there is a gun. A what? A gun? So that's it. Your Honor, please recall this morning's trial when Director Cosmos was on the stand. The bullet that hit the oxygen tank was extremely small, maybe a 10 caliber. This little compact gun probably takes bullets of that caliber. It looks like this is the gun that was fired at the scene. I'm flabbergasted. The lighter was a gun? So when Detective Fulbright would touch his holster, that's right, whenever he mentioned the Earth emblem, he must have subconsciously thought about the secret behind the lighter. In other words, he knew it was a gun from the very beginning. A lighter that transforms into a gun seems like a spy gadget to me. It's not the kind of thing any ordinary person can get their hands on. In fact, I'd say it's strictly in the domain of elite spies. Detective Fulbright, you will explain yourself. There's nothing for me to explain. I didn't know the lighter could transform. I mean, it was found in the Space Museum, and then I brought it straight in. I didn't even have time to check it out.
Objection!
Whenever you mentioned the Earth emblem, you touched your holster. You subconsciously did that because you knew it was a gun. Accuse me all you want, but where is your proof? Do you have any evidence that I knew the lighter was a gun? Not exactly. And whose prints are on it? Miss Sykes' prints. It proves that she's the culprit who fired the gun at the scene. Ugh. It would appear that the detective is right. Are you guys really trying to prove your client innocent or what? Although it pains me to do this, now that we are where we are, I have to make the following assertions coming from the prosecution's side. The person who fired the gun at Director Cosmos in the lounge after that incident, and the person Ms. Blackquill saw holding the lighter, and the person who murdered Mr. Tarrant, and the person who bombed the Space Center, are all the defendant, Athena Sykes. The prints on the lighter are decisive proof. No! Now do you see? A man on the side of justice couldn't possibly be the culprit. And I think this about sums up Miss Sykes' part in the whole affair. The evidence certainly does seem to point to the defendant's guilt. Do you have anything to say, Prosecutor Blackquill? Evidence is everything in court. Therefore, Fulbright's claims stand firm. But... Calm down, Apollo. He's just saying that because he has to as the prosecutor. Mr. Lawyer, our job is to pursue criminals in the name of justice. You shouldn't cast suspicion on people based on something as dubious as a habit. In fact, you have a bad habit of showing up in court with an awful case of bed. Objection! Says the man who wears sunglasses at night. If it's proof you want, it's proof you'll get. I'll prove that this lighter is not Miss Sykes, but yours. Sounds like you've hit on something, Apollo. It's just if the prints on the lighter are the basis for accusing Athena, I think we should reconsider the credibility of the evidence itself. You mean you think this lighter might be forged evidence? That's right. It could all be part of Fulbright's bigger plot. Did he do anything out of the ordinary while I was off on my own? I can definitely think of a few things. It is indeed. Have a look at this. What's this? A lighter? Detective, we'd like to run a comparison on some prints we found in the boarding lounge. Ah, yes. I just happen to have compiled the print data of everyone related to this case. I can always make another copy for myself, so it's all yours. Consider it a gift. If we assume he's been laying a big trap for us all along, there's gotta be something off about this piece of evidence. What's wrong with the lighter as a piece of evidence? Simple. The owner. Are they really Athena's fingerprints? They definitely matched her print data. But what about the data itself? Detective Fulbright, you were the one who provided us with the lighter and print data. Isn't that correct? Yes. What about it? You say Miss Sykes' prints match the print data. But I have to wonder, was the data you used official? Mr. Wright, are you suggesting that the evidence may have been fabricated? I guess there's only one way to find out. Let's re-examine the prints. Using the official sanctioned print data of the people involved in this case. What? You dare insult the epitome of justice and integrity? There's no need for such antics. Silence. Your Honor, I lend my voice to the defense's request. You must allow the test to be rerun. Very well then. Bailiff? Ah, it appears that the official data is here. And the results? It's just as the defense claims. This proves that the prints on the lighter do not belong to the defendant. Yeah! Yes! The fingerprints actually belong to the victim, Mr. Clay Tarrant. I figured. Fingerprints and blood. Those were Clay's fingerprints on the lighter? Ah, I see. Come to think of it, wasn't it you, Fulbright, who collected the victim's prints? I personally removed his glove during the investigation. We had to get his fingerprints to confirm his identity after all. When you took the deceased's fingerprints, you could have easily planted his prints on the lighter with his blood, after which you wiped the blood off of his hand. Ah! By your own admission, you were also the one who compiled the phony print data. All to put the blame on Miss Sykes. Yeah! This ploy must have been to distract us from the Phantom who was behind everything. You were out to create the impression that the Phantom wasn't the true culprit. So does this mean Detective Fulbright really is the Phantom? Remember the killer's escape route. No ordinary person would have been fearless enough to attempt it. Nobody but the Phantom, the man with no emotions, could have done it. Detective Fulbright, you were the only one who could have used that escape route. Fulbright, are you really the Phantom? Answer me, or so help me, I will slash you to tiny slivers where you stand. All right, I'll talk. I confess. I'm not the Phantom. Silence. It's all over. Now be a man and admit it already. But I'm not a spy. I'm an undercover investigator. I've actually been after the Phantom myself. An under-the-cover investigator? That sounds less than wholesome to me. A person who hides his identity and secretly investigates in order to uncover information. And that's what you really are, Fulbright. That's right. I was working to track down the Phantom. But sadly, even though I was supposed to catch the spy ended up catching me. He took my family hostage and forced me to cooperate with him. What? Objection! You're telling us this now? But if what you say is true then, who was the mystery person Miss Blackquill and Mr. Starbucks saw? It was the Phantom, I tell you. All I did was help him by having that emergency ladder lowered for him. Objection! That's a lie. I don't believe you. Then how do you explain that fabricated lighter? That was also one of the Phantom's demands. Being the detective in charge of the case, it was easy for me to fabricate evidence. Paying the crime on Athena Sykes was just another one of the Phantom's orders. You expect me to buy that? Fulbright, what was the Phantom's ultimate objective? I was told it was to sabotage the rocket launch. Someone who didn't want the launch to happen must have given him the order. Actually, I have to apologize to you too. The Phantom told me to get close to you. He ordered me to get back that psych profile you have on him. So he sent a buzzard of his own to tail me this past year, did he? I haven't been a champion of justice. I've just been a pawn of evil. A pawn of the Phantom who stole the moon rock and killed Dr. Sykes 7 years ago. Enough, Fulbright. Just tell us the Phantom's true identity. I don't know. He was very careful to hide it. He has top secret information for all kinds of corporations and countries. So there's a number of organizations that want him dead. If people believed I was the Phantom, I could be killed on the spot. Why, I bet even now, there are assassins lurking nearby. This case is about the Phantom after all. With the ceiling blown off, I suppose you are vulnerable to a sniper shot in this courtroom. Just 2 seconds ago, Fulbright was treating Athena like a criminal. Does he really think he's gonna lie his way out of it now? But on the surface, everything does seem to make sense. This could be bad, Mr. Wright, if we can't find a flaw in his logic. He's right. After we've come all this way, we can't let Fulbright wriggle free now. There, I finally told the truth. Now I hope you see how foolish it was to think I was the Phantom. You're an intelligent man, Prosecutor Blackquill. You believe me, right? I believe you. I don't think you're the Phantom. What? How can you say that, Prosecutor Blackquill? It's obvious he's the Phantom. Silence. Evidence is everything, right, Dunno? And you must admit there's no clear evidence that Fulbright is the Phantom. Ah! Yes, as I recall, the only solid proof we've seen up to this point. is the fact that Detective Fulbright fabricated evidence. But... I've known Fulbright here for a year now, and all this time he's been quite intent on rehabilitating me. I don't believe his efforts were a lie. But Prosecutor Blackquill! This fool truly thought he could reform a death row inmate like me. He went so out of his way in his efforts for me, he actually became quite a nuisance, really. Prosecutor Blackquill, you believe me! Please tell me Prosecutor Blackquill hasn't really been taken in by this big phony? However, even if it was against your will, you still acted as the Phantom's accomplice. You will have to pay the price for that. Throw yourself at my mercy and don't you ever betray me again. Have you got that? Yes. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Oh, come on. Such a bond of trust is a rare and beautiful thing. In any case, it looks like everything has been resolved. I can now hand down a not guilty verdict with confidence. Very good. I'm very glad to hear it. It's all over. Everything's been cleared up and Miss Sykes will go free as well. Mr. Wright, we can't let the trial end here. If we do, the Phantom, the man who killed Clay, will get away. I know, but... what do I do? I don't have any proof that Detective Fulbright is the Phantom. Is this it? Is he gonna get away just like that? Now, if you'll excuse me, my next investigation awaits. And with that, I'm off! Okay, so now what? Athena! The defense? No, wait, not the defense. The defendant feels it's not time for a verdict yet and would like to see this trial continue. What? But I was just about to declare you innocent of all charges. It just doesn't feel right to be standing here. Hey, Apollo, think you could scooch over? Athena, what are you doing? Well, we don't get held in contempt of court. I have some questions for you, Detective Fulbright. Are you relieved that you are no longer under suspicion of being the Phantom? Are you grateful to Prosecutor Blackquill for what he's done for you? Of course I am, and I'm truly grateful from the bottom of my heart. Athena, where are you going with these questions? I have yet to hear a single emotion behind any of Detective Fulbright's words, boss. The suspicion against him has been cleared up, but he's not feeling happy at all. What? Does that mean... We may not have any evidence, but the heart doesn't lie. That's it! With your special ability, we just might be able to stop him. Your Honor, the detective has been deeply traumatized by our accusations. Yes, well, even before all this, I thought he was a rather odd fellow. If he doesn't get counseling right away, who knows what might happen to him? Prosecutor Blackquill, can you believe the nonsense the defense is spouting? Fulbright, I think you'd better have that counseling. Not you too! You've been making batty remarks ever since you were accused of being the Phantom. Such as, you're an undercover investigator and your family has been taken hostage. I fear you might have finally lost it. But I thought you believed me!
Silence!
Oh, how you amuse me so. What's going on here? That was an excellent bit of psychological manipulation just now, Simon. I knew you would catch on, Athena. Huh? Mind filling me in here? Guess we left you in the dust, huh, Mr. Wright? Simon was only pretending to believe Detective Fulbright, because he knew I noticed if there was a lack of emotions, just like joy or relief in his response. So he gave me the chance to take a listen. And listen I did to the voice of Detective Fulbright's heart. What? You two are working together just now? Come now, Athena. Show us what's inside Fulbright's heart. You got it. Time Time to check the instant replay. Widget, mon ami, let's do this. Mood Matrix system online. Thank you for believing in me, Prosecutor Blackquill. I am an undercover investigator, but the Phantom was coercing me. He stole the moon rock and killed Dr. Sykes 7 years ago. I'm a bad person for cooperating with such a man. But he took my family hostage. What else could I do? Even with all his over-the-top expressions and gestures, he's registering no emotion at all? It's just like I thought, and right in line with the Phantom Psych profile. Detective Fulbright, this lack of emotion proves you're the Phantom. What the hell? Hey, what's going on? Wait, hold it. Why do you think you're doing, Detective? Me? I'm not doing anything. He's trying to hack into the Moon Matrix program. I can't do anything with it like this. Gah! Fancy device you have there, but I'll tolerate no cheating, thank you. Sorry about that. As an undercover agent, I tend to use my secret arsenal without even thinking. More like as a spy. Thanks, Prosecutor Blackquill. There, now that you can't hack me anymore, I dare you to try to hide your lack of emotions from us. Lack of emotion? What are you talking about? Of course I have feelings. As a matter of fact, you've wounded me very deeply with that accusation. What's going on? All of a sudden I'm getting an overwhelmingly happy reading. Huh? But he's literally crying us a river over there. Oops, my mistake. How about this? Gah! Yikes, now he's angry all of a sudden. What's he trying to pull? Like as not, it would appear our friend is not completely without emotion. It's just as it says in Dr. Sykes' profile of the Phantom. The subject has a unique psychological makeup with almost no emotional fluctuation. Oh, I get it. So he has some emotions, right? Precisely. Which leads me to wonder why you can't sense any emotions from him at all. I believe it's most likely because he is controlling his emotions. Very good, Prosecutor Blackquill. You are correct. It's the result of my daily training. A very important skill for us undercover investigators, you know. More like for us spies. Seriously. But I wonder why he suddenly showed several strong emotions. Wait a minute. I think I know. I sense there's a feeling you're trying to hide with your exaggerated emotions, Detective. A feeling I'm trying to hide? That's a good one. You're the ones who have been saying I'm the Phantom because I don't have any emotions. I was just trying to show you the range of deep emotions I truly possess. Then you have no objections to me analyzing you, right? No, analyze away. But I will state it again, I am not the Phantom. And be forewarned that your analysis will have no effect, because you're about to see what an undercover agent can really do. Me? The Phantom? No way. Oh, I'm so sad. See, I told you I have emotions. How dare you accuse me of being someone who would kill over a moon rock? Yeah, but you tell me all I need to know. Got it. Your sadness. Profound. I found it. I found the one emotion you're truly feeling. What? Hidden in the middle of that chaotic storm, I saw one emotion that never disappeared. When you talked about the moon rock, you felt a fear that wouldn't fade. Fear? Huh? A fear that a man with hardly any emotions feels, huh? And it was a response to that moon rock. Detective Fulbright, I presume you feel fear concerning the moon rock because your identity will be revealed. Of course. That's it. Enough, Fulbright. Just tell us the Phantom's true identity. I don't know. He was very careful to hide it. He has top secret information for all kinds of corporations and countries. So there's a number of organizations that want him dead. If people believed I was the Phantom, I could be killed on the spot. Why, I bet even now. There are assassins lurking nearby. This case is about the Phantom after all. Detective Fulbright, I think I know why you would feel afraid. You are afraid that the moon rock will somehow reveal your identity. If his identity were revealed, he would be killed immediately. That's certainly enough to make even the Phantom feel afraid. Me? Afraid? I don't know what you're talking about.
So there really is something about the moon rock that would reveal his identity.
Apparently so. Wait a minute. Maybe the Phantom didn't so much steal the moon rock, but more like he had to take it with him. Because there was something on it that would reveal his true identity. Not again. Where do you think you're going? Me? I'm not going anywhere. Is it just me, or was he gonna use that weird watch thing to try to get away? How many more of those toys does he have? And we're gonna get myself some. Was that a Batman reference? Detective Fulbright, you will answer honestly to this court right now. Why do you feel fear in connection with the moon rock? In justice, we trust, not emotions, Mr. Lawyer. Evidence is everything. I'm the Phantom because I'm afraid? Don't make me laugh. Ah! And what was that just now?
But all human beings have hearts and experience emotions. Sometimes analyzing a case from the psychological perspective is the best way to find the truth.
It's all just a waste of time. All your efforts and analysis serve no purpose. And now in this dark age of the law, nobody would believe your claim that it's effective. In an era where evidence is fabricated, do you truly expect feelings to be accepted as proof? And where exactly is your proof that I fear the moon rock anyway?
Well, I admit I don't have any conventional proof. But I still say that examining a person's heart has its merits.
Oh, really? Then why don't you listen carefully with those special ears of yours? Listen to the voices of the hearts of the people in the gallery. What is Fulbright trying to do?
All I hear is distrust. Is distrust?
As you can see, the people are on my side, because all they see is a strange little girl using a weird little machine.
But it's not like I use analytical psychology to falsely accuse people.
Uh-oh. He's got Athena doubting herself.
Miss Sykes' analytical psychology has breathed new life into the courtroom. It has freed the hearts of many witnesses and has been key in getting to the truth.
What nonsense! Your Honor, the defense's claim is a false one. I don't feel any kind of fear when it comes to the moon rock. I see. Very well, I will give the opinion of this court. In a trial, I don't feel that a person's emotions are quite as compelling as actual evidence is.
But Your Honor!
There, you see? Nobody believes you and your trumped-up charges. However, I do believe Miss Sykes' analyses can contribute to making the truth clear. I have seen her do this firsthand several times already. Surely you jest.
So does this mean you will accept my findings in this trial, Your Honor?
Yes, I believe your claim, Miss Sykes. I think there is merit in examining why the witness feels fear in regard to the moon rock. That is the court's opinion on this matter.
Then that's a win for me. No, a win for analytical psychology. Now, Mr. Phantom, you will tell this court the reason for your fear.
Analytical psychology? My fears? Fine. I'll show you precisely why those abstract things can't be considered evidence. Witness testimony. My fear of the moon rock. I felt fear when I thought about the moon rock because it reminded me of the Phantom. Yes, I'm very afraid of him because he took my family hostage. What reason would the Phantom have to be afraid of the moon rock? None at all. So the very fact that I'm afraid of the moon rock means I'm not him. In fact, I'm on the side of justice! And there you have it. Now, do you see why I'm afraid of the moon rock? Sure, you sound convincing enough. But so does any 2-bit con artist. It's all meaningless in the absence of evidence. The Phantom is like the mist. No flesh, no bones. My sword alone cannot cut it right, Dono. With your deductive reasoning and the body of evidence before us, let us send this miserable Phantom fellow to the other world together. You and I, Prosecutor Blackquill, we have a duty to bring the Phantom down and restore the people's faith in the courts. Indeed. By covering for Athena, I allowed the Phantom to escape. And as a prosecutor, I gave birth to the people's mistrust with my murder conviction. I bear part of the responsibility as well, for being suspected of forging evidence and losing my attorney's badge as a result. That was due to Kristoff. The two of us and the Phantom were there at the beginning of the dark age of the law. Then it is also our burden to cut away the foul specter we created, is it not? Until all that remains is the righteousness of the court and the faith of the people. Trust? Understanding? Fragile ideas of the masses who are controlled by emotion. Humans can't truly trust each other, which is exactly why the illusion of trust is so enticing.
Objection!
Once two people overcome their misgivings, that's where real trust is to be found. You're free to believe what you want, but trust like that is stronger than you and your lies. Always! The last testimony. This is where things are going to go to hell fast. I felt fear when I thought about the moon rock because it reminded me of the Phantom. Yes, I'm very afraid of him because he took my family hostage. What reason would the Phantom have to be afraid of the moon rock? None at all. There is actually one thing, and it's this damn knife. Detective Fulbright, I assume you know what this is? Of course, that's the knife the Phantom used to kill Clay Tarrant. That's right, and the exact same type of knife Miss Sykes used 7 years ago when she stabbed the Phantom's hand. Yes, that was discussed earlier as I recall.
He dodged at first, so I only got his clothes. But I tried again.
And this time you got him, didn't you?
I did. I remember it clearly now. The knife went into the back of his hand.
Miss Sykes then stated that she remembers the culprit bleeding. It's my theory that the culprit's blood got on the moon rock, and he was afraid that if the blood was analyzed, his true identity would be revealed. That explains why the Phantom had to remove the moon rock from the crime scene. You mean if we ran the analysis now, we'd know who the Phantom is? Yes, I suppose so, but unfortunately the moon rock in question is missing. That may be so, but I'm certain I can explain what happened to it in great detail. You can? Of course. Not. You don't actually expect us to believe that, do you? Because you don't fool me. Ah! What this court needs is a bully-free zone. The infamous sword of the beguiling bluff. Its edges without compare. Come now, ready it with me, and show us just how finely it cuts. Your Honor, this is an outrage! Oh, I mean, this is an outrage?! Ah! Go on, Wright, Dono.
Let's start with something that's been bothering me for a while. Now, the culprit supposedly removed the moon rock from the lab. But in this video of him, it's nowhere to be seen.
Oh, you're right.
But here's something to consider. What if the Phantom hid the moon rock somewhere at the scene of the crime? Good thinking, boss. Security was super tight at the Space Center back then.
All that in spite of the Space Center having very strict security in those days. All personnel effects were examined thoroughly, coming or going. You couldn't even smuggle the withered old leaf through those checkpoints.
Does this mean that the moon rock is still somewhere in the Space Center? In the name of justice, I proclaim that's impossible. And why's that? The Space Center was searched from top to bottom, and especially the lab. But the moon rock was never found.
Ah, how could I forget about that? A sad but true fact we still haven't a grasp of how it was done. But the Phantom made the moon rock vanish into the ether.
There's no way it just disappeared. Logic and evidence tells us otherwise. The Phantom didn't have the moon rock on him when he left the lab. Yet a thorough police search didn't turn up anything. And it never turned up in the 7 years after that either. The Phantom made the rock disappear without physically removing it himself. But how? There must have been a way. Think, Phoenix, think! How did the moon rock vanish from the robotics lab?
So, can you or can you not show what happened to the moon rock, Mr. Wright?
Yes, I can, Your Honor.
What? Oops, sorry, I mean, what?
In that case, let's have your answer, Mr. Wright. How did the Phantom make the moon rock disappear from the crime scene?
Simple. The Hope Capsule.
That's the Hope Capsule, right? The one that went up with a Hat 1 rocket? He couldn't carry the rock out, but he couldn't leave it in the center to be found either. So there was only one safe place to stash it. The Hope Capsule that was there in the lab that day.
Yes, and the team must have loaded onto the Hope space probe eventually.
But if that's what happened, then the moon rock would have been launched up into space along with the rocket.
Preposterous! It would mean that for these past 7 years, the moon rock was...
Exactly. The Phantom got rid of the moon rock in the most cosmic way he knew how. It was out there in the depths of space. Aboard the Hope space probe.
What?
Order in the court!
I understand now. The Phantom's original scheme was to sabotage the Hat 1 anyway. The villain, he used his primary objective to conveniently kill 2 birds with 1 stone.
That's right. He planned for the moon rock to be turned to cosmic dust out in space, thereby destroying the one piece of evidence that could reveal his true identity. But Mr. Starbuck and the others foiled the Phantom's plot. The Hope space probe sailed off safely on its mission and returned 7 years later, with the capsule in tow.
Ah!
If we analyze the blood on the moon rock, it should make one thing crystal clear. That you were the Phantom all along, Detective Fulbright. So he killed Clay just so he can get the moon rock back? I believe so. His original assignment may have been just to sabotage the Hat too, but at the same time, he also had to retrieve the evidence of his crime 7 years ago. That's why he went to the boarding lounge and attacked Clay as he made his escape out of the rocket with the capsule. But in the end, it was all he could do just to escape himself, so he didn't get the capsule. Clay must have done everything he could to stop Fulbright. He probably hung onto that capsule for all he was worth until his very last breath. Oh, this is so funny. You made me laugh. You really do. Boy, he's totally out of whack now. It's game over for you, Detective Fulbright. Why don't you just admit to it all now?
There's nothing to admit. I'm Bobby Fulbright, undercover investigator, I tell you.
I am not the Phantom. The blood on the rock is just another one of his schemes. A trap. Now I'm not sure what to think. I suppose if the Phantom is a spy worth his salt, a trap is not out of the question.
Objection!
But in that case, you could say anything is a trap. That's what makes a trap a trap. I've been framed and taking the blame for the Phantom. Your Honor, I believe further investigation is in order.
Silence!
Further investigation? More like plotting your escape. But no more. I will bring you to justice myself if I must. Here and now! I guess it's time to show you just what I'm really capable of. Die, Simon Blackquill! Hey, you guys aren't really... Now who's interrupting us? Edgeworth! It looks like I made it just in time. Edgeworth! I have good news for you, Mr. Wright. I've uncovered some very crucial facts. Did you find something out about the Phantom's true identity? You might say that. I started by looking into the first people on the scene 7 years ago. All three, an employee and 2 officers, were registered in the robot's recognition systems. But none of them looked the least bit like Detective Fulbright. That's not good. But there's more. I've yet to share my most important finding. Mr. Wright, Prosecutor Blackquill, you'd best brace yourselves. Uh-oh. The man you see there before you, Bobby Fulbright, is already long dead. Huh? What's that supposed to mean? An unidentified body that was found a year ago has now been proven to possess Bobby Fulbright's fingerprints. Then does this mean... Yes, that man there is an imposter pretending to be Bobby Fulbright. An imposter? Then this man, who in the world is he? Enough of your trickery! If you will not reveal yourself to us, then I shall do it for you! What the? No! His face! Look what you did to my mask. Mask? What is the meaning of this witness? Okay, you got me. I guess I have to show you who I really am now. The hell? Solomon Starbuck? Wait, but that's... Hey, Apollo. Yup, it's me, Solomon Starbuck. Mr. Starbuck, but that can't be right. You can't really be the Phantom, can you?
Silence!
Of course not. The real Starbuck was aboard the Hat 1, which was set to be destroyed. Yeah, this is just another mask. I mean, didn't I tell you? I'm an undercover investigator. I can change identities at will. I can be anyone I want.
Objection!
Not so fast! I have the Phantom psych profile right here. If we compile a psych profile on you and compare the results, it will prove that you're the Phantom! Objection! Now what? It's time for me to show you the real meaning of the phrase, the end justifies the means. That voice! Those words! Aristotle means! I cannot accept such evidence here, Miss Sykes. Professor Means? Mask? I'll take what I want, by any means necessary. Now give me that evidence! Huh? Time to take out the trash. Permanently. How could you? Now do you see now how powerful the end justifies the means can be?
Silence!
How pathetic. You can't even speak without wearing another man's face. Ah, but that's the life of an undercover agent for you. My real face has no meaning or value to me at all. Or perhaps it isn't really the case that you don't even know who you are anymore. What must you see when you look in a mirror, Mr. Phantom? Not an awful lot, I'd wager. Well, aren't you just a master of psychology, Blackquill? That's right. I don't know who I am. I am always living as someone else for my assignments. I don't remember what my face looks like, or even what my personality was like. My face, memories, personality, beliefs, emotions, and soul. I left them all behind. I have no self. I am no one. I am nothing but an endless abyss. What's with this guy? Is he even still human? And now we resume with your lesson, Professor Wright. Huh? I believe you made this argument earlier. If you were to analyze the blood on the moon rock, you could prove that I am the Phantom. I believe there was blood on the moon rock in that capsule. Now that we know you aren't even Bobby Fulbright, your claims of a phantom trap won't work anymore! Then why don't you bring this moon rock in? This decisive evidence from the Hope Capsule. I think I will do just that. Get ready, because the Hope Capsule is about to seal your... Fudge! He was gonna say the F word. It was the courtroom bombing from the other day. The capsule was there in the courtroom as evidence and was blown to smithereens. It looks like you have finally caught on. Full marks for the defense for effort. But what a shame your hope was lost in that courtroom explosion. So that's the real reason this courtroom was blown up. It was all for the Phantom to destroy that one piece of evidence. I can't believe it. Have we really reached a dead end after coming all this way? Has the only evidence we have on this guy really been destroyed? How dare you continue to call me the Phantom? As I've said all along, I'm just a nameless undercover agent.
Objection!
And the defense will continue to assert that you are the Phantom. Furthermore, we have proof. Or at least a prayer. I'm afraid that won't do, Mr. Wright. At least put some weight behind your swing, Wright Dono. I know, I'm trying. There's only one thing that can unmask this menace. The moon rock. That was blown to bits in the courtroom bombing. And yet, is it really gone without a trace? What if some tiny part, some little fragment still exists? Yes! And you can see the stolen moon rock there too. That strange black and yellow thing on the left side of the picture? Very well, Mr. Wright. Let's see your proof. What evidence will finally prove the Phantom's identity? I think it's probably the phony fanny bomb. Isn't that the bomb that blew up the courtroom and the moon rock along with it? Are you saying this will reveal the Phantom's identity? Yes, Your Honor. Focus your attention on the photo taken after the bombing. Specifically, right here. 7K. Please take a look at this newspaper article. This article about the Hat won. Now please note the strange black and yellow rock there on the left. That's the moon rock. And when we look at this photo of the bomb fragments, see how there is a rock-like object with the same coloration? Oh my, yes, I see it. It would seem that the moon rock was much more durable than the Phantom thought. If we take a look at all the fragments that the police found, we'll likely find one with blood. And DNA testing on that blood will prove that the witness is indeed the Phantom. Unbelievable. But that's impossible. A surprise to be sure. That's one bloody tough rock. Let us have the fragments tested straight away. Oh, and you'll be having a DNA test too, Fulbright. Bailiff, contact the police department immediately and order the testing. Prosecutor Blackquill, what did the test results show? There was a rock fragment that had blood on it that appeared to be several years old. DNA testing revealed... Well, I'm sure you know full well what it revealed. They confirmed it was the witness's blood, didn't they? There's no use in trying to talk your way out of it anymore. Admit it, you are the Phantom!
Objection!
Wait. Huh? Mr. Wright, did you just raise an objection to yourself? No, I didn't say a word. That was my objection, Apollo. Huh? What the hell? Why? It was a pretty good objection, too, don't you think? Now he's me? So, did you have an objection or not, Mr. Wright? Huh? Oh, no, not really, Your Honor. No, not you, Mr. Wright. I mean the witness, Mr. Wright. Could this trial get any more insane? Mr. Wright, this fragment of rock in the photograph and those just like it. How can you be sure they're pieces of the same moon rock that was at the robotics lab? Care to explain what you mean? Well, there may have been a rock or two in the courtroom that had my blood on. But how do you know they're not just rocks? You can't prove they're the moon rock, right?
Objection!
Don't be absurd! Just compare the fragment with the rock in the newspaper article. Anybody can see they're the same. They have the exact same coloration!
Objection!
But maybe some other rock with the same coloration happened to be in the courtroom. It's highly unlikely a rock with such a unique appearance just happened to be here. But you can't deny it's a possibility.
Objection!
But your blood was found on one of the fragments. Apollo, there's nothing suspicious about my blood being on a piece of rock. And why not? I know it sounds like an excuse, but several years ago, I tripped and fell in this very courtroom and was hurt pretty badly. Maybe that's how my blood found its way onto a piece of rubble. Even he must realize how ridiculous that sounds. And yet I suppose it's not completely out of the question. I see you're starting to sweat, Mr. Wright. I thought that the worst of times are when lawyers have to force their biggest smiles. You're the last person I want to hear that from. Well, then why don't we get those fragments analyzed? We could ask an expert to verify if they were from the moon rock in the robotics lab or not. I'm sorry, but I'm afraid that just isn't going to be possible. And why not? In order to prove that the fragments are from what you say they are from, you need a sample of the moon rock from 7 years ago to compare it with. But that moon rock doesn't exist anymore, and there's no sample data left either. So you see, short of going back in time, there's no way to prove that any of the fragments are from the moon rock. Oh! No! There's really no way to prove it? Are you finally ready to throw in the towel?
Objection!
Nope. Not yet. So the moon rock doesn't exist anymore, huh? That's right. It was such a valuable rock, too. A shame, really, but it's lost to us forever. He's wrong. It's not completely lost. There's another piece of it, right here by our side. A shining fragment of hope that can turn everything around. The final piece of evidence to put this phantom away for good. The defense has a piece of evidence that completely contradicts your claim. You have what now? A final fragment of hope that was passed down with great love and care. We do? We do, even if the person holding it hasn't realized it yet. Is this true, Mr. Wright? Pay no attention to him, Your Honor. He's just bluffing as usual. I wonder if you'll be able to force your biggest smile when you see what I've got. Try me. The piece of evidence that shows the original moon rock isn't completely lost is this. But just about the only things my mother left me with are widget and this earring. Maybe she did love me in her own way. Athena, You may not know it, but your mother left with you a very important piece of evidence.
She did?
You're bluffing. You don't have anything of the kind.
Oh, but we do. Evidence that will finally corner you, because we have a moon rock of our own. Yeah! Oh! You mean...
Exactly. A gift Dr. Sykes left her daughter. An item Athena has cherished and worn all these years. As distant as Dr. Sykes may have seemed to her daughter, that fragment of her love will shake off the darkness of the past and give us all hope for the future.
This is the defense's sample of the moon rock.
Take that!
That's your sample?
This earring that Miss Sykes always wears was made from that original moon rock.
What? All this time? It was right here all along?
No, it can't be.
If the composition of the bomb fragments and the earring are found to be a match, then it will prove beyond the shadow of a doubt the origin of the fragment in this photo. And since the test results show that the blonde of the fragments was yours, this means that the identity you tried so hard to hide will finally be revealed. The identity I tried to hide? I don't have an identity to hide. I may not have Athena's ears, but now even I can hear the fear in your voice. Fear?
I don't feel fear. I left all of my emotions behind years ago.
Objection!
Every human being feels fear. You simply can't face the emotions inside you. You can't face them because you have nothing. No love, no trust.
And I suppose you do.
I didn't have anybody to support me at first either. I couldn't face the fear inside me, couldn't get over the trauma of my past.
Like I said, I don't feel fear.
Objection!
Then you're just a coward for running away from yourself. When I had my doubts about Miss Sykes, I felt like I would collapse under the weight. But I wanted to trust her. And I knew I could trust Mr. Wright to uncover the truth. That's why I was able to face my suspicions without hesitation.
Running away from myself?
How can I run from myself when there's nothing inside? Nothing at all.
Objection!
I know it's hard for someone as unwilling to trust others as you to understand, but people have emotions. It's just a fact of life, and so people can be weak at times. But that's exactly why people need to trust one another, so they can gain the strength to face themselves when things are at their bleakest. Without trusted others, how can you ever hope to face your fears?
The fear inside of me? Is this?
No. I'm afraid. I'm scared. I feel fear. You can't outrun yourself. Remove that mask and unleash your emotions. Confront your guilt head on. With your own true face. My own true face? No, please don't. I know you're here. Where are you? See? I haven't revealed anything yet. Honest. My own true face? I don't have one. My face, my face, my face!
Saturday.
Is this my face? Is it? Is it? No! That's not it! No! This isn't me either. Ah! Is this me? Which one is my face? What am I? Who am I? Ah!
Looks like we'll never know who he really is. A sniper attack in this very courtroom. It chills me to my bones. But the police are doing everything they can to track down the sniper as we speak. Prosecutor Blackquill, how is Detective Fulbright, his imposter, doing? He's a lucky fellow. The bullet didn't hit any vital organs. He appears to be in no danger of dying. Well, that was fortunate for all of us. The analysis of that final piece of evidence Wright Dono submitted is in. The composition of Miss Sykes' earrings and the fragment with the blood on it match. We can now be certain that it is a fragment of the moon rock in question. The murders and bombings at the Space Center, both past and present. The bombing of courtroom number 4 and all of his other crimes as numerous as the stars. Under suspicion of all these things, the spy known as the Phantom has been incarcerated. The prosecutor's office is now responsible for his well-being. There are still a myriad of things we wish him to tell us about, after all. Thank you, Prosecutor Blackquill. Well, it's time to finally bring this trial to an end. But before I do, will the defendant please return to her proper place?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now then, this court finds the defendant, Athena Sykes, not guilty. And with that, this can finally be put to rest. Court is adjourned. December 20th, 9:12 p.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 5. Finally, it's over.
Congratulations, Mr. Nick.
Thank you, Pearls. And thank you for being there for Athena.
It's the least I could do. But Athena was great, wasn't she? She was so strong throughout the whole trial.
Daddy, I'm so glad to see you. Trucy, are you all right? Are you hurt?
I'm fine, Daddy. I was doing magic tricks for the other hostages to keep our spirits up.
That's our Trucy for you. I'm really glad to see you're safe. Right, I fear I owe you yet another debt of gratitude. Edgeworth, we never would have caught him if it weren't for all of you. Aw, come on, Edgeworth, what are you talking about? You're the ones who have been tracking the Phantom all this time. Plus, you were the one who gave Blackquill permission to serve as prosecutor, right? Yes, well, we knew the Phantom was somehow nearby. The police and I were trying to find him, but we never did manage to do so until this trial. Well, we never would have won this trial without you. It was your help as chief prosecutor that was the key to its successful conclusion. Besides, it was you that saw to it I got my attorney's badge back, wasn't it? So you figured it out, did you? Yeah, getting my license back went just a little too smoothly, you know. It should have been much harder after that evidence forging scandal. Well, I owed you a few favors. Hey, Edgeworth, think we can finally bring the dark age of the law to an end? Even the darkest night turns to dawn eventually. Our sun will rise again. Besides, now that Prosecutor Blackquill has been cleared of all charges, a great deal of the mistrust toward the court system should have been swept away. You know, you could have said that with a bigger smile, Edgeworth. It won't kill you. Instead, the furrows in that brow of yours just keep getting deeper and deeper. So I should smile more, huh? I'll think about it.
Ah, the complicated love-hate relationship between lifelong rivals. Athena?
I'm forever in your debt. You went to all that trouble, even taking the bar exam while you were overseas.
Well, I knew that if I didn't get your sentence overturned fast, you'd be executed. So I studied and studied. I was frantic. I'm so glad I made it in time. Just barely. But I still made it.
Atta girl, Athena. It's good to see you finally let your tears out. Yes, I survived by the skin of my teeth thanks to you.
Shame on you, Simon, for trying to throw your life away like that.
It was never my intention to just throw my life away. But some things in this world are more important than your own life.
Like what?
My honor-bound duty to protect with my life. My mentor's most beloved treasure.
Huh?
That's some loyalty. This guy really is a samurai through and through. Well, it looks like we can breathe easy now. Apollo, Athena, thank you both. It took all of us together to pull it off.
You bet, boss. What a team we are, huh?
It was definitely the most amazing turnabout I've ever seen. I'm a lucky guy. My office has the best, most capable lawyers around. Thanks, Mr. Wright. I'm gonna work extra hard to make up for all the worry I caused. Apollo Justice is fine and ready to go. Let's hear it for the Wright Anything Agency.
Well, nobody's gonna try harder than me, so you better watch out, Apollo. Simon is free thanks to Mr. Wright. But there are so many more people out there who need our help.
You're right, and I'll be needing you both to help them. We still have a long way to go. Get ready, you two. We won a major victory, but the war is far from over. There are still people out there suffering under false charges who need defending. We've got a lot of work ahead of us, if we ever hope to fully bring the dark age of the law to a close.
Hey, I know one thing we have to do. We have to celebrate with a bowl of piping hot noodles.
Huh? Nothing like a bowl of Eldoon's noodles after a trial, all on Mr. Wright's tab. That's how it works at the Wright Anything Agency, right, Mr. Wright? Huh? As a boss, it's your duty to express gratitude to your people for their great work. In that case, allow me to join in the festivities. I would greatly welcome a bowl of noodles.
I have an idea, Daddy. Why don't you just invite everybody involved with the case? The more the merrier, right? Oh, Mr. Nick, look how far you've come. Who knew you'd grow up to be such a generous gentleman?
Guys, under these circumstances, there's only one thing I can say. Only if I get to join in.
Hey, no fair. I want to say it too.
Okay, here we go.
Objection!
And with that, Dual Destinies has come to a close. The main story, that is.
I was trying to think of something nice I could do for Polly now that he's back. So I decided to go around and get a bunch of jobs for him to do. Find a lost cat, install an air conditioner, give a computer lesson, find a lost item. You think I should have found him a few legal cases? Nah, that's okay. This is the Wright Anything Agency after all.
What a ride it has been. My boys is gonna have a workout when it's all done.
Athena and Paula were so wonderful in court. I better study as much as I can if I want to be a judge someday. My grandma says, eat lots of peppers and they'll ignite your passion. Oh, but I should figure out which to grow, green peppers or yellow peppers. Or maybe I should go with hot as the sun red peppers instead.
I agree. Man, this game was something else. It really is. A lot of people don't like it, but I still do like it. I found it to be okay. The end of the dark age of the law, you say? How naive. Don't you know it's sometimes necessary to get a guilty verdict by any means possible?
What? They're putting me under investigation? The chief prosecutor wants to see me? Yay!
Serves him right. He deserved it. Jeez Louise. Yeah, I know a lot of people don't like this game, but I do. I've been asked to debut the great masked wrestler, Ten Mataro.
He's scheduled to go up against the amazing Ninetales next, though.
Oh, what to do? A fight to the finish with myself?
Why don't you ask Mr. Demon Lawyer to be the amazing Ninetales too?
That's not a bad idea. I bet he'd be all for it.
So we are to meet as foes, as are we, my little friend?
At least I can safely say that it is a proper end.
Would you believe it? I'm Alderman of Ninetales Vale now. Pretty impressive, eh?
I took over after Rex QB for the good of my beloved village. What do you say? Would you like to make a little donation to help us out?
Hey, you! What do you think you're doing sneaking into the manor?
Ah, the jig's up! Better make a run for it!
I like this. You gotta admit, the 3D models, those a massive improvement.
I thought I wanted to be an artist, but after seeing the amazing job Athena did, I started becoming genuinely interested in law. So now I'm studying for the bar exam. I'm gonna prosecute Athena someday. Yo, S-E-E.
I'm studying my buns off too, but not for the bar exam. I'm gonna pass the Themis entrance exams on my own merit this time. With a score of 100 points, of course.
Hugh, Juniper, our dream will live on forever! I found really sweet boxes for all 3 of them, but they won't wear them. Is it because I want to be a legal journalist instead of a lawyer or a judge? Anyway, thanks to the trial, the school newspaper's future is as bright as can be. Now let's see what the fresh blood have to say in the new school paper. Our editor cried so hard at graduation rehearsal, her cardboard box got soggy.
Yeah, she fits the Metal Gear thing to a T. The one night only reunion concert? I still remember that evening of passion. The president of the student council sang like no high school student I've ever heard. When she's a judge in her own court someday, I'd love to have a jam session with her. It'd be the coolest trial ever, yeah? I can already hear it now. I hope we see you again in Ace Attorney 7. I will have a video discussing what it would be about.
I gave this place a good cleaning from top to bottom, but it's already a mess again. I guess the only thing I can do now is clean up the attitudes of the people in this office. With Mystic Maya due to come here once her training's over, it simply must be done.
Humanity's dreams for outer space will never die. In fact, planning for the Hat 3 rocket has already officially begun. Look upon me, people of this great nation, and witness the glory of Yuri Cosmos. What do you... Oh, Director. Yes, rocket preparations are fully complete. Yes. You just leave everything to me. Assistant Director, Yuri Cosmos.
Why do I feel like I'm bawling in tears right now? It's just so good. I'm going to the moon in the new rocket. If Athena or Mommy Metis came to the moon, I would love to show them around. But which is more interesting, Montes Pyrenees or the Mare Tranquillitatis? You think they would like either one? Yay! Hooray! I wonder how Miss Aura is doing. I'd rather be near Miss Aura than on the moon. Oh, Miss Aura, I just want you to use me again like you used to.
Ready for launch. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift off! I'm going to the moon for real this time. For me and for Clay. Thanks to my lawyers, I know I should never give up. But I'm worried. You can't breathe in space, and in fact, it's cold as heck. Oh man, now I'm getting really nervous. No, I am not employed here. I simply came to request their services in defense of my sister. But no one's around and I've been kept waiting for a long time. And what sort of case brings you here? Oh, your father was accused and you wish for Athena to defend him? Then perhaps he and I shall meet in a courtroom in the near future. Thanks for everything, Janet Sue. Thank you. I look forward to your next month's salary assessment.
Please forgive me!
Blackquill's acquittal has brought all manner of ills in the prosecutor's office to light. It would seem solving that case has thawed the chill of winter into the warmth of spring. Now I owe Wright yet another debt of gratitude, but I will repay him one day. You can trust in that. And with that, Yeah, we're done. We're done with Dual Destinies. Not the main game, but this game is not over yet. Not even close, because there's actually one more case. One more case that remains. The DLC case that was released about a few weeks or so after the game was released. I played this back in 2013, when I did it without any commentary whatsoever. Looking back on it now, I had a lot of fun. Although one of the reasons I had to make sure I do it as much as possible was because, well, there was another creator who could do it better than I could. Slicer. Wherever he's at now, I wish him nothing but the best. To tell you the truth, I got envious. I got envious that he could do a better job of it than I could. And even though I did what I could, I was driven by a motivation of jealousy. Is it wrong to be jealous of someone better than you? I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. I really don't. But I will say it firmly that, yeah, I'm doing things my way. My way is always the best way. That's why I'm doing it with commentary now. I figured if I would have something, anything that could have me be set apart from others, though it wouldn't make much of a difference, then I could stand out. Looking back on it now, I wish I could have done more. I honestly wish I could. But I am thankful that I now get to experience this again in high definition. Yeah, I still have Spirit of Justice to do, and that is going to kill me. So yeah, I'll let you enjoy the rest. That is it. For the most part, we're pretty much done with the main game. If you want to see the bad endings, I will be putting a link in the description, because I'm not going through that. No way. I still have things I need to finish. I gotta finish Final Fantasy V. I gotta do Dragon Quest V. Yeah, and pretty soon I'll probably be doing FF7 Rebirth, provided I hopefully get a code for it. If I do, expect me to cover it. If not, I can just continue doing what I do best. But yeah, looking back on this now more than 10 years later, it's not that bad. I enjoyed it. It has enough twists and turns that really go a mile away. And the addition of Athena Sykes really adds more to this game. And I'm not kidding, it makes it worth it. I can't think enough how enjoyable this is. It really does. So yeah, product provided this by CAPCOM. Thank you all very much for watching. Our work ain't done yet. I will see you in Turnabout Reclaimed. If you enjoyed this, like, comment, share, subscribe, and click the bell. I will see you then. This is MegamanNG signing off. Peace out. See you then. And thank you. Objection!
I'll be fine. I'll be fine. I'll be fine. I'll be fine.
T-minus 15 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Liftoff. Mr. Starbuck!
You'll be fine! Just believe in yourself!
The moon's closer than you think!
Thanks, guys. I wouldn't have made it back into space if it wasn't for you.
All right!
Through the years, I've seen as much joy as heartache, honesty as deceit. But just as Mr. Starbuck was able to escape the harsh pull of his fears and despair, I believe that hope and friendship can lift us all up towards a brighter tomorrow.